Hello! Welcome to our channel. We're Tash and Tracy, and we're spending this autumn exploring Europe in our Expedition 68 camper van. From hidden gems to breathtaking landscapes. Join us as we hit the road for new adventures.
Good morning. We are in Rimini in Italy. It's a lovely little town. And part of the reason we're here is that my parents' brother and I came here in the 1970s for a family holiday, so happy memories.
Before my time.
Much before Tash's time, apparently. Yeah, so it's lovely, and it's got some amazing Roman remains. It's got the Augustan triumphal arch, which I think is the last one, fully intact in Italy, and it's got the remains of a Colosseum, which I visited last night, and it's got a fantastic Roman centre, including a Roman bridge, which we will visit today in the sunshine.
So this area is pretty good as well. We found it on Park for Night. Basically, it's just a big public car park, and then to the back of it is where motorhomes can park, and there's a little chap over there in that caravan which you go and pay, and he gives you a receipt. So it's €15 a night plus €5 for power.
Cash only.
Cash only. I'm not sure about grey and black waste at the minute, but we're going to go find that out as we leave. Yeah, and it seems pretty good. It's about 115 metres from the centre. It's a good spot.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a Roman square. This is the road that are linked to Rome, and that's why there's a triumphal arch at the end of this road. In the 1940s, very sadly, 3 young men were hung by the Nazis, and there's a memorial, which I've taken a photograph of, with 3 spotlights in the paving, as it would have been, that are kept permanently lit in memory of them. We have changed the name of this square to the place of the 3 martyrs. It's gruesome, isn't it? So we're in another square that would date from the Roman times, although it looks to me like we've got a whole range of Renaissance, 17th, 18th century buildings here. The crenellations at the top are very similar to the crenellations we've seen in the remains of other Roman walls, and then you've got the very traditional classic Greek architecture at the bottom, the towers and the loggie, which are very typical of Italy and southern warmer European climates. It's just, as always, stunning. And then finally there's a statue in the middle which would be to one of the popes. I know not which, but isn't it brilliant? So in English this is Tiberius Bridge, and it was finished in 21 AD, and it's still here. That is extraordinary. It's a 5-arch bridge, and it's just so robustly constructed. It's a thing of beauty. And it's still being used as a bridge. It's not a monument, it is a living bridge. I'm gobsmacked. So do you remember when we were in Zadar, I said I think we're walking on I thought I was walking on Roman paving. This is Roman paving. I was.
Yeah, that's my love.
I was right. So this is the home of a surgeon from the 2nd century. So it's archaeological, so it won't be buildings, but it'll be fascinating. Yes. Grazie, ti prego. So this site was discovered in 1989 when they were doing paving works in the Piazza Ferrari. And what they discovered was the remains of a palace, which is what you have here. You can see the mosaics, which are multi-chromic, in other words coloured mosaics. You have the hypercaust, or the underfloor heating system. And you also, interestingly, have some burials, which probably predate the mosaics. And I think the human remains are literally still human remains. But most interestingly, this was actually overlain a 2nd, 3rd century house of a physician. And they think the physician actually came from North Africa, because that's where the skill set would have been. So over there, which we're going to look at next, is the remains of this 2nd century surgeon's home. So what happened according to the information that's here, is that the surgeon's house was destroyed by fire, and then in the 5th century there was a change into where the Roman capital was for the region, which came closer. So the palace was built for one of the court officials, and then subsequently that was abandoned, and then you have a medieval period, which is represented here. So you can see the medieval floor. Over towards the end there, you've got the use of Roman bricks as part of the medieval walling material. But what I particularly like here is that the archaeology hasn't been chased to bottom. So you have these pits that have been partially excavated. They haven't been fully excavated because they have over there. So there is potentially, may still be archaeology under there, but they might have reached the end of the archaeological interest. And in the future there will be digital means of ground penetrating radar, for want of a better word, that will allow us to see under these. Of course, once you archaeologically excavate, you remove and destroy evidence.
Enjoy that, Trace?
Oh, that was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a find. Could you imagine being the person who was digging there going, oh, it's a mosaic, I better tell someone about this. And then suddenly they start excavating this whole area, and they've built the building over it, and keeping everything at the right temperature. And the water table here is quite high, so they've obviously got a pump in there keeping it nice and dry. And it's just it's extraordinary. It's wonderful.
See, I don't need to read anything because I've got a trace. I get my own personal history lesson every day. Everyone needs a trace in their life. Oh, it's a nice building. So we're heading to the sea now, so I can look at the boats. We've done the building, now time for the sea.
Yeah, but the buildings here are brilliant. Look at that one.
Yeah.
We are the only people here for some reason.
We can hear the sea, but we can't see it because they've got this big sandbank. So we're going to have a look over the top. Here it is, Trace.
Oh, I could go for a dip.
So it's so nice to be back by the sea, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So, as we previously said, we had two options of getting back into France, and we are going to go with the coast. I think that's our safest option with the weather.
Yeah, and it also keeps us in the warm, because otherwise we're going to have to go into the mountains, into the cold, and then we're going to be a long way from the sea for far too long.
Yeah, and it also means we've still got potential sea swims.
Yay! So this is the forum that we saw on the plan in town, which is quite next to where the Sostra is, which is great. So this is just half. It's sadly on the other half of this oval-shaped structure is modern housing. But you can still read these major routes in, and in aerial form you can still see the concentric circles of how the seating would have been put in. So it's very similar, not in scale but in design, to the Colosseum in Rome.
Wow.
So this starts to tell you some of the scale, because you can read the arches, so you can see how big the arches would have been, how big the structure was. And if you look at the stones at the base, you can see it was a very big substantial structure originally. And you can still see some of the remains of the interior walls that would have supported seating and had the cells and various other things.
So we're going to end this video here, because we're going out for tea.
It's been a fantastic little town to explore.
I'm not really sure though.
Yes, that's because I'm standing on the top bit here.
Yeah, we've had a good day. Tracy's thoroughly enjoyed it, haven't you?
Oh gosh, yes, so much Roman stuff. It's been great. So yes, we hope you've is this the end?
It's the end.
Oh, okay, we hope you've enjoyed.
Not the end, but just the end of this one.
We hope you've enjoyed watching. I've not even had any wine yet. Hope you've enjoyed watching. If you do, feel free to subscribe. It'd be great. If you've got any comments, let us know. Ring the bell and all that malarkey.
Yeah, and we'll join you next time when we are going to be heading to
the 5th smallest country in the world. Woohoo!
What's it called?
Don't ask me that.
You'll have to stay tuned. See you later. And we're also getting treated to some music from the motorhome behind us. It's quite an old one. I think they might be a bit permanent. But I think maybe they've been on the Vino all afternoon and they're having a bit of a power ballad session.